Good evening, everybody. My name is Olga Washington, and I have the absolute privilege, and I also count it an honor, to serve in the incredible organization that is Club Z. And more specifically, I serve as Club Z's National Director for Programming and Engagement. On tonight's call, many of the faces that I can see are representatives from Club Z, my incredible colleagues who we get to make magic every day in relation to Zionism and the wonderful teams, as well as our families that we engage with. Over the next few moments, you'll be hearing directly from myself, also from the Director of Education, who's our incredible Dr. Naya Lekht, as well as from my colleague. She has nicknamed herself, and we have crowned her as well, the Queen of Fun. That is Miss Arielle Mogil, and she is up in New York. So we're going to chat to you about Club Z just for a little bit, hoping to give you more information. If you have not signed up, let you know why you need to sign up for this incredible Zionist program. But before we get there, we have got a good amount of people on the call. So I'm going to play a little bit of an icebreaker just to get us into things for the evening. Can you please, by raising your hand, say whether your favorite place to be? I'm going to give you two names in Israel. Raise it for the first one, raise it for the second name, and the second place. Your favorite place in your favorite place in Israel is Tel Aviv. Hands up. Boy, we have one, we have two, we have three. Okay, favorite place in Israel is Jerusalem. Favorite place in Israel is Haifa. No. Favorite place in Israel is somewhere else. Everywhere. All right, so we love Israel. Hands up if I've got a cool list of questions that I want to speak to here. If you are first generation American, we got one first generation American. If you are an immigrant, I'm an immigrant. Raise your hands if you are through and through American and proudly so. All right, please can you raise your hand if you prefer arugula to babka?
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, arugula to babka. What about from a drink perspective, if you prefer coffee to tea?
No? I like both.
You like both? Okay, Arielle loves both. Let's do one more. We're talking about Israel. How many of us have been to Israel? A good amount of us, and I'm sure more of us want to go. This is not that great a question, but it is a question, unfortunately, that has become more and more prevalent in the world that we live today. How many of us either have personally or know of somebody directly related to us, including potentially our children, have experienced some sort of anti-Semitism? Right, so anti-Semitism in today's world presents a growing problem, and that is why and where Club Z comes into the picture. I'm going to ask Dr. Naya Lekht to share her screen so that we can watch a very brief video on Club Z and its origination. And then we will converse a little bit more as to who Club Z is.
1 second. Sometimes it doesn't work. Okay. Give me a second, everyone. Olga,
while she's doing that.
Hi, Natal, how are you?
All right, while she's doing that, I do want to, throughout this evening, give a shout out to a couple of our people. And those are the incredible young men and women who are responsible for our different chapters across the country. We are present on the East Coast, on the West Coast in various chapters. You'll hear about that as we go along. First and foremost, please can we give a shout out to Miss Irene Dobkin, who's responsible for our New York region. Underneath her region, we have got Manhattan, we have got Westchester, and we have got Brooklyn. Irene, do you want to say something quick?
Yes, we are recruiting, so join us. We're really expecting to have you in Club Z. It's the best organization ever.
Awesome, awesome. So all our New Yorkers, she will be the person that you will engage with together with her incredible team of regional managers who are responsible for the different chapters. Technology working on your end, Naya? It's working? Yeah. All right, good.
All right.
I We founded Club Z to give kids and teens tools to address difficult questions about Zionism and Israel in a way that is positive and honest. High school students are faced with anti-Semitism every single day in public high schools. What do you do when your teacher comes into the room wearing Free Palestine t-shirt?
I had a history teacher who made a heavily biased presentation against Israel and threw out a lot of factually incorrect things. And since I knew all this stuff from Club Z, I was able to correct him.
What do you do when your teacher hangs a Palestinian flag in a classroom?
I was wearing a Star of David around my neck. A person at my school came up to me and asked me if I was Jewish, and I said yes, and then they called me a fascist pig.
What do you do when your classmates literally take an eraser and erase Israel off the map?
If you're a Jew, people are automatically going to connect you with Israel. And in some cases hate you for that. You don't really have a choice. You can't change that. So you should at least be able to defend yourself when someone comes and attacks you for just being who you are.
These are issues that they bring to us, and then we help them think through what could we do, and we give them choices. The unique part about Club Z is the fact that it is both an academic program and it is also a social club.
It's just every other Sunday morning. Everyone kind of has like a breakfast together. Everyone chats for a bit. We usually will have the topic for the day, some sort of presentation, and then an activity. Sometimes we'll launch into these lengthy debates, which is also really fun.
It's not just the knowledge that you sit and passively receive. You want to do something with that knowledge.
If we can connect their developing identity to Zionism, to the true story of Israel, we will have amazingly educated, impassioned activists.
I graduated in 2016, and now I'm a junior in college. The professional development skills that I learned in Club Z, giving presentations, researching, debating, help me every day in my college classes.
Leadership Forum first started with 25 kids, and we just had our last forum. We had over 100 teams. They wanted to meet incredible speakers from which we're learning.
Just the sheer number of speakers who were not Jewish but were advocating for Israel, like Olga Washington and Arielle Mogil.
We bring college students who can talk to teens about what is happening in their campuses.
I think one of the coolest parts about this conference and just Club Z in general is that they have spanned literally across the US, from Seattle to New York to Ohio. There are people from all across the country with different views, but one thing that holds them together and we all have in common and we all stand for is Israel.
Our alumni now are spread all over the country, and still they're connected as part of this one community of proactive, articulate, educated Jews who are not afraid to speak up, who are not afraid to raise their hand and say, "Excuse me, professor, perhaps you're wrong." And that is the power of this rapidly growing movement.
That is a little bit of a highlight as to who Club Z is and what we are about. Our mission and our mandate is that we are about creating a network of educated, passionate, confident, young Jewish leaders who are one day going to change America and are in the process of doing it actually for the better. On that note, I would like to hand over to Dr. Naya Lekht, who's going to give us some insight into the educational aspect of who Club Z is and what we do. Over to you, Naya.
Thank you, Olga. Well, it's my honor really to speak to all of you here. I know some of you on this call, I can't see everyone, so I would love to see their faces, but I'm going to take you back and give you, and I'm gonna ask if you can mute yourself while I'm speaking, just so we can hear the presentation. I just want to take you back and describe to you why was Club Z born? What was the need that this organization saw a gap and fulfilling that gap? There's a plethora of Jewish organizations out there. There's all kinds of Jewish organizations, especially youth groups. This organization was founded in the Bay Area, and it was founded on the principle that unfortunately, Jewish education in the United States of America is failing in preparing teens to be confident, articulate, knowledgeable Zionists who are rooted in strong values who are rooted in something deeper than tikkun olam and that Israel makes cherry tomatoes. Because ladies and gentlemen, when our teens go on college campuses and they are standing there saying, oh my God, Israel is an innovation nation, and Israel is social justice, and Israel is pluralism, and Israel is tikkun olam, nobody cares, because if you grew your tomatoes on stolen land, that's basically the end of it. And a lot of teens were going to college campuses, going from Jewish day schools saying, there was a famous hashtag by If Not Now, they never told us, or I feel lied to by my Jewish day school. I feel I was unprepared. And the truth of the matter is Jewish day schools did not want to touch Israel, did not want to touch the conflict, but we do. We want to speak about it. We want to talk about the history. We want to prepare them. We want to give them, of course, a wide gamut of what Israel is, including all the innovation. But if we just tell them that side of the story, we are failing our kids. There's another reason that Club Z was started in the Bay Area. I want you to take a look at these screenshots. These are actual pictures taken by students. And now I want you all on this call to imagine yourself being a Jewish kid. You're 15 years old, you're in a classroom. The classroom is an English classroom. It's not about Middle East, it's not about politics. And your teacher decides to use her classroom to indoctrinate, to influence the class. On one side of the wall, you see the words, end the occupation. On the other side of the wall, tear down the apartheid wall. And on the other side of the wall, you see the Palestinian flag. And you as a Jewish student feel pretty much unsafe in this class to be a Jew, to raise their hands and say, excuse me, what occupation are you talking about? What apartheid are you speaking of? Because your teacher is signaling strongly her beliefs. And these beliefs are anti-Semitic because they're rooted in the desire to destroy the state of Israel, which is one of the pillars of Jewish identity. So again, I'm kind of giving you the story of where Club Z was founded, which is in the Bay Area, why it was founded, because we were not preparing our Jewish kids for better or for worse, for an onslaught on their Jewish identity. This right here is a packet that I found in here in Los Angeles, in Calabasas, in a public high school, 9th grade class, Intro to World History. They had to unscramble. Here they had to unscramble. Palestine is also called the Holy Land. A child coming across this thinks that there's a country or was a country known as Palestine. And that's just not the case. And of course, we see this woman, it says here on the bottom, Palestinian woman being hit over the head, probably by an IDF soldier. So what do we do at Club Z? We keep on saying, our kids were not prepared. Our kids were not prepared. Well, we want to prepare them. We want to give them all the tools, not just talking points. And I want to be very clear. This is not a place where we tell our teens, when you hear this, please say that. And when you hear this, here's a myth. Here's how you debunk this myth. No, the curriculum is rooted in conceptual thinking, in asking kids to start using their critical thinking skills. The curriculum is rooted in 3 pillars. The first is peoplehood, the second is Zionism, and the third is advocacy. What do we mean by peoplehood? We mean that we work on their Jewish identity. We are reprogramming, reorienting them to start thinking of themselves as part of the Jewish people, not part of the Jewish religion, it's not a faith-based identity, it's an ethnic-based identity. And if it's an ethnic-based identity, then we come from a place, we come from Judea. We spend a lot of time with our teens discussing that Jews are from Judea. A simple sentence, Jews are from Judea. You have no idea how radical this statement is in many Jewish spaces. In fact, I will just share with you, when I was in graduate school, learned people in Jewish studies, when I asked them, where are Jews from? A lot of people thought they're from Eastern Europe. It was radical, and it still remains so. So what we do is we work on, what does it mean to be an indigenous people? What does it mean to be part of a nation? What does it mean to have an ancestral homeland? All wrapped up what Gil Troy calls identity Zionism. The second pillar of our curriculum is anything to do with Zionism. That is the re-establishment of the state of Israel. And notice I didn't say establishment, I said re-establishment. It's very important. Another concept that we teach at Club Z is our kids need to learn to identify bias and agenda. Even something as simple as celebrating Israel's independence in 1948 sends a misguided message that before 1948, there wasn't the state of Israel. Correct, there wasn't a modern state of Israel, but there definitely was a presence. We had kingdoms there. So our second pillar is everything to do with the modern re-establishment of the state of Israel. And this is where we really go into the conflict. We understand the tension between the Arabs and Jews in the 1920s and 30s before the reestablishment of the state of Israel. We do a lot on 1948 war, 1967 war, a bit on 73 war, Yom Kippur. And, you know, our curriculum is kind of teleological in the sense that there's basic foundational topics. And as the teens stay with us throughout the years, they start learning more and more and more. So first year, second year, we're not going to talk about Judea and Samaria and areas A, B, and C. We're not going to do that, but that's maybe a third year curriculum. And finally, the third thing, why we do what we do. We're doing this so that knowledge is wonderful. But if you can't use your knowledge to speak, to articulate with confidence, to do advocacy, to do activism, that is what we're all about. Our mission statement is to create a network of educated Zionists who are activists. It's not to create a network of educated Jews, period. It's to create a network of educated Zionists who will do advocacy and activism. And we have a lot of we bring in different speakers, different training opportunities for our teens. And every single lesson that is taught throughout the Institute concludes with advocacy training. That's really, really important. So again, curriculum is rooted in three pillars: identity, history, really, of the modern state of Israel, and advocacy. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to the Queen of Fun, because it's been a little bit too much of education. And the Queen of Fun, Arielle Mogil, is going to discuss what does a Club Z chapter look like. And please, if you have questions about the curriculum, I'm more than happy to answer them at the end. Please write them down so you don't forget. And now I turn it over to Arielle to discuss our chapter.
Thank you, Naya. Before we start with the super fun stuff, let's have one more chapter shout out. Let's go to the Bay Area, welcoming Bay Area's newest regional director, Kareen. I can't see you because there's a screen, but unmute.
I'm here. Happy to be here.
Anything you want to say to the people?
I'm super excited about this upcoming year. We have fantastic content and we can't wait to meet you.
Yes. Awesome. So this is what you guys will get in a year with Club Z when you sign your teens up for Club Z. But I say what you get because Club Z is not just about our teens. We're also about family and community. So we start implementing that from the very beginning. We have our opening retreat. This retreat kicks off the year. They're regional. So we have our West Coast retreat happening this weekend, followed by the New York retreat, followed by I can't say Charlotte anymore because now we're expanding, followed by the North Carolina retreat. This retreat is a weekend, it's a Shabbaton, it's a get-together. The main intention for this retreat is to set all of our goals, all of our expectations, all of our fun, all of our learning for the year. This is about bonding. It's about getting to know each other. It's about having fun. It's about connecting. How do we connect? We disconnect, right? So we collect all of the phones at the beginning of the retreat. I know your teens might complain, but they will tell you it was the best part about their weekend. I can almost guarantee it. We are having fun. We're getting a taste of Club Z, what an institute session looks like, what our staff members are like, what their friends are going to be like. They will come in maybe not knowing anyone. They will leave with best friends. It's a promise. And that is what makes them so excited to be present at our Club Z institutes. I know how much work all of your teens do all year long. I've been doing this, I'm going on to my 4th institute year. I was in New York chapter the last 3 years. I know that they are in school 5 days a week, and then they're in after schools 5 days a week, and then they have weekend stuff. So what makes them willing participants at a Club Z institute for 3 hours on a Sunday or 3 hours on a Tuesday night? It's the community that they built. They're learning with their friends. Also, Dr. Naya Lekht, Queen of Education, did not do herself enough justice. Institute sessions are fun. They are not just sitting there listening to someone teach at you. They are experiential. Teens are getting up. They are working with their hands. They're putting together puzzles. They're doing research. They're leading activities. They're practicing debate skills. They are working hard, but they are working fun. And that is why they love coming back. So what does an institute session look like? They're once every other week, roughly, give or take some Jewish holidays packed in the beginning, between 12 to 15 sessions a year. They always include food. We know that the key to teens' heart is to feed them. So if it's an evening institute, they will have dinner. If it's a morning institute, they will have breakfast. And if it's an afternoon institute, they will have lunch. We also have a break in between because we know we need to get up, we need to get our blood flowing, we need to get moving, and we need to do what? Have some fun with our friends in between. Institute sessions are not just education, but they're leadership training, they're leadership building. It's really an elite program that starts from the very beginning for our 8th graders and grows up until our 12th graders are going to college. And we're working with them. The longer they're with Club Z, the more they are entitled to, the more that they earn public speaking training, op-ed writing, debate skills. They're working with some of the best and the brightest to build LinkedIn profiles and have professional photo shoots. It's really such an incredible program. And one of the questions that we get asked is, well, why should I start in 8th grade? And this is the reason, because they are just building upon every year, more skills, more debate, more everything. It's really such an incredible thing to watch our little teens go from, tiny little 12-year-olds to big, taller than me 12th graders. Then, and this is the event that all of our teens absolutely say is the most epic event of the entire year. It's our national conference. This starts when they're in 9th grade, they're eligible to come. So it's 9th through 12th graders and our college alumni always want to come back. That's how amazing this weekend is. This conference is one of the highest caliber conferences I've ever been to. So for any of our parents that have been to an APAC or an IAC or any of these really incredible Jewish conferences, that's what this is, but for teens. Our speakers are here for teens. Our programming is here for teens. The breakout sessions are for teens. So this is built exactly for what our teens want, what they need, and how they can learn. We have some of the most incredible speakers that come from all over the world to speak with our teens. Colonel Richard Kemp, Ryan Belrose, Pastor Dumasani Washington. And I don't know if you noticed the theme of the 3 speakers that I just mentioned, but something that's so special about Club Z is we bring speakers that are not Jewish. And we do that on purpose. All of our Jewish teens are going to meet amazing, incredible, wonderful Jewish Zionists all throughout the year by being part of Club Z. They're meeting like-minded teens. But it's also really important to expose them to incredible Zionists that aren't just like them, that are making a splash in this world for other reasons and in other ways. And the coolest part about our speakers is they're as excited to be with our teens as our teens are to be with them. So it's not they come, they speak, they leave. They sit and they have dinner with our teens for an entire weekend. They're at the pool party with our teens doing cannonballs. It's a weekend that our teens talk about. And really the highlight is that they're together with Club Z teens from every single chapter across the US and teens that don't have a chapter yet. This is where they come. This is where they get exposed to Club Z. And this is where they get excited to join and start a chapter. Social gatherings happen throughout the year. This is what my new role is going to be accomplishing. These are our social events. And I mentioned before, we're not just about teens. We have teen events. We have community events. Community events are for everyone, younger siblings, grandparents, neighbors, friends. And then, because I know you guys need it too, we have parent-only events where we don't let anyone in who's not a parent. There's usually a lot of booze involved. If you look at the bottom right, that's a Prohibition Purim party. It was not Prohibition this Purim. If you look to the bottom left, that is a community event where we had parents, teens, friends. It's so interesting to me how the teens whose younger siblings come, beg us every year, can you just make an exception? Can you take a 6th grader? Well, I'm in 7th grade, but I'm almost in 8th grade. Can we start? So the more that they're exposed to Club Z early on, the more excited they are to join. You see, we have Krav Maga, we have Friendsgiving. I just want to point out one thing that we do that I think is really special at Club Z is we really give the teens ownership. These are leaders. So we don't just plan something and expect them to do whatever we tell them. We ask them what they want to see. We ask them what they want to do. So we had this concept for Friendsgiving. We had a dessert potluck. Everyone brought something sweet. There was more dessert than I've ever seen in my entire life. We set up a huge hot chocolate bar, but we thought Thanksgiving is also about being thankful and giving back. What kind of project do you guys want to do? And our teens in New York, and I believe last year Charlotte joined in, and I think LA also, they decided that they wanted to bring items that they could then donate to lone soldiers in Israel. So not only did they have this huge drive, and we shipped them 2 years ago, last year our teens that went to Israel brought them and delivered them. They also wrote notes, because a lot of the lone soldiers in Israel are not that much older than our teens. And it was really special for them to get to write a message and say thank you, and connect with, with soldiers that are over there fighting in Israel. So that's just another way that we get our teens involved and get them excited about coming to some of our programs.
Next. Sorry, one small thing. Yeah, Arielle, continue.
So where are our programs, you might ask? Let me tell you. We started in the Bay Area. We quickly expanded to LA. Then they brought me over in New York. Irina is now taking charge. And we have our Brooklyn, our Manhattan, and our Westchester. Olga and Joshua are just taking Charlotte, North Carolina by storm. And not just Charlotte, like I mentioned before, we have now expanded to the Triangle. If you are not from the North Carolina area, let me tell you, that includes Durham, Raleigh, Chapel Hill, and Cary. I know that's 4 and a triangle usually has 3, but we're just that good at Club Z. We add, whatever those things are called in the, 90 degrees or whatever. We just add them. And then, of course, if you are on this call or you have friends or relatives or cousins that you think need Club Z, but don't live in one of these direct areas, we have an online academy. This is a great place for teens to start before we build a chapter in your neighborhood. This also meets every other week. And if you're close enough, please, you're welcome to attend some of the local events, the retreats, and of course, the national conference. I just wanted to point out that part of our social events and part of the fun and the get together and the building of community are literal activism events. They're with Club Z teens, they're with Club Z staff, so they feel safe, they feel secure. It's a great taste because then it's like riding a bike. Once you try it with training wheels a few times, you're really much more comfortable to just get on that 2-wheeler and go. And once you know how to ride a bike, it's like you could do it with your eyes closed. So we take our teens with us in a safe environment with people they feel comfortable with. So when they're on college campus and it's time to step up and do it themselves with new friends or lead the way, it's like nothing. They've done it before. They could do it with their eyes closed. It's really one of the most special parts about joining an organization like this.
And I just want to add, and if you recall when I spoke about education, it's in order to be activists and advocates, and we give them ample opportunity, and Arielle's absolutely correct. We go with them. These are just, this is in Berkeley. We took them to an event. This is in Los Angeles, and we even have teens who are become featured speakers at rallies. And back to you, Arielle.
This is my final slide, I promise, and then we'll get back to the nuts and bolts of it. We talk about how we're training teens to be leaders, how we're working with them to be advocates and activists. We are so lucky to have watched some of our teens grow into such incredible and amazing young adults that we were able, with partnerships with other incredible organizations like the Lawfare Project and the Jewish National Fund, to create this National Teen Advocacy Award. We have 2 of the most amazing young women I've ever met, Jennifer Carlin and Natalie Arbitman. Jennifer's from LA, Natalie is from the Bay Area, and they were each awarded in 2020 and 2022 with the National Teen Advocacy Award. Jennifer speaks all over, writes articles. Natalie stood up in high school and fought against she wrote an article that was not accepted because it was about Judaism. And she fought all the way to the top to make sure that her voice was heard. And this was as, I think, an 11th grader. I don't think she was a senior yet when this happened. And since then, she's just been standing up and making a splash. And she's going to be a lawyer, and she's going to make a huge difference for the Jewish people. And it's an honor to have met these girls. And this is the caliber that our teens are working towards, are striving, are just getting. I mean, would they have done it without Club Z? Probably. They're incredible. Did we help them? Absolutely.
And finally, this is something that the founder of this organization, Masha Merkulova, always says, and I agree with her wholeheartedly. We are not a pro-Israel organization. We do not teach our teens to stand up for Israel. No, no. When you stand up for Israel, you're standing up for a basic right, the basic Jewish right to stand up for your Jewish identity. And that is what we're about, creating a strong Jewish Zionist identity. And I'm going to stop sharing, and we're back.
Thank you, Naya, and thank you, Arielle. Before I get into it, just before we get to Q&A, I would like to give a shout out to our regional director who is in Los Angeles, Corinne. We just said hello to you. You're in the Bay. In Los Angeles, we don't have Corinne. We have Jen. Jen, where you at? Where you at?
Hi, I'm Jen Weintraub. Nice to meet everyone. I'm so excited because this year we have not only one educator, but two, and I'm really, really looking forward to an amazing year.
Awesome. And we've got one more that I have not yet introduced, and that is our regional programs director from Charlotte. Give it up for Joshua. Joshua, where you at?
Hello, hello. It is very, very exciting to be here this year. I'm excited for this year. We have a lot of great new students and amazing returning students. We're looking forward to an awesome year in North Carolina. It's going to be amazing.
Amazing it's going to be indeed. Now, I've only given a shout out to our regional directors, but there is an incredible team that comprises Club Z. We have regional managers that are in touch with our teams, that provide mentorship, that engage with them, make sure that they are learning and growing. We've got incredible educators that work directly with Dr. Naya Lekht to ensure that the information that is passed on is accurate, is good, encouraging them to think and debate. And we have also got people that help make things tick behind the scenes, from our marketing director, new marketing team, which we are so excited about, to an incredible woman who's got pure magic as she writes. She's a content creator or senior writer. I always get her title mixed up, but we love her. To our development officer, she makes sure that the money comes in. So if you know of anybody that may not have a team, or even if they do have a team, but they've got money that they can donate to us, we really would appreciate that. Our cost that we take, or rather put to the parents, is only 10% of the total cost of the program, and that is as a result of our very generous donors. And then we've got very lovely ladies in our back office with HR and operations, as well as finance, that make sure that Club Z is a wonderful place, not only for our employees, but for you, our families. We would love to take a few moments for you to ask us any question that you may have as to why Club Z is as amazing as it is, and why your teen, if your teen has not yet signed up, needs to sign up. We have got 1 week left. Applications close on September 8th, and we want to make sure that no family out there is left out. Every family, every Jewish family that has got a teen from the 8th grade all the way through to the 12th grade, we would love to have you, love to have your teen, as we equip them to be proud advocates for themselves, and then so for the state of Israel. Any questions? All right, as you think, oh, I see a question over there. Is there still space to join in Los Angeles? That is a very important question. We have hit our ceiling in Los Angeles, which is the first time that we have done this. Our Los Angeles chapter is bursting at the seams. Not only did we hit our target there, but because of Jen's leadership, with her leadership, we have actually also we lifted the lid a little bit in terms of the number of teams that can come in. But unfortunately, at this moment, we're at a place where we can't have any more teams. But all hope is not lost. We have a waiting list. So please, will you go to the website if you are wanting to not only join Los Angeles, but any of our chapters. It is www.clubz.org. www.clubz.org. Our application is there for Los Angeles. We will have a wait list that you can sign up on. And if there's a teen that for whatever reason is unable to continue with the program, which does happen from time to time, then you will be added on. But also potentially at the beginning of next year, once we have been able to ensure that our infrastructure internally is able to cater for the increased capacity, we may open it up. So that is in relation to Los Angeles. All right, we're in Texas. So how does the online program work? Naya, I'm going to hand over that to you because you are our director who teaches the online program. How does that work?
Hi, yeah, we have a wonderful online program and it meets every other Thursday. Sorry, it's a little loud, but from 5 to 6:15 Pacific Standard Time, and it's every other week. There's a curriculum. I'd be more than happy to answer more questions about the curriculum, but in terms of how it works, it's a year-long program, and people who sign up for online are absolutely welcome to come to retreat as well as the conference. But I'd be more than happy, and I'm going to leave my email here if you have any more questions. But it's not a different curriculum. It's not a different curriculum at all, but this year, most of the students that are online were my students last year, so it is going to be a little bit more advanced level, but I'm hoping to catch the newer students up to speed as well and offer them opportunities to do that. But that's my email. Please write to me, and I'm more than happy to answer questions about online.
Are there any other questions? There we go. How does a new chapter get started? What are the requirements? Well, we are community driven and we pretty much go where the community is like, hey, Club Z, we've heard about you. There is interest. Please, can you come and establish a presence in the area? I'm going to speak as to how we are currently doing it with the Triangle area because that is our newest location where we have a chapter. Our chapters start by way of what we call a pilot program. It is not a pilot program as in we're doing something brand new. It just really is a condensed version of Club Z and kind of then gives the community an opportunity to understand what Club Z is about, to get a taste, the teens get a taste of what the curriculum is. We also have social events. So on the whole, for a pilot program, you have approximately 5 institute sessions across the year. We have different educators that will fly in or drive in, depending on where that location may be, that will engage with the teens on an educational level. We will also put together about 2 to 3 social events throughout the year so they can also get a little bit of the Queen of Funds taste and what we do in relation to events and the networking and the community building for our teens. There are also 1 or 2 programs only for our parents as well as the community. Again, we're about community building. The starting number for interest, if we are to come, is around 15. It can be anything between 12 to 15, but we do prefer the number 15 because that provides a nice robust number when the teens are engaging. As you may appreciate, at every institute session, there may be 1 or 2 teens that are unable to join for that particular session because they've got other commitments, be it school or something else. So around 12 to 15 is what we are looking to do. If for the new year, because this year we have got our area for purposes of a pilot program. If you are wanting a new chapter to be established in your area, please will you email joinclubz at clubz.org. I'm going to ask my colleague Odine to please put that in the chat. Joinclubz at clubz.org and just send a note saying interested in establishing a new chapter, a new physical chapter for the new year, and I will personally be in touch with you. All right, I invite you. Well, thank you. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. All right. We will, please send me your email because I want to get your contact details, but I really do recognize and I'm grateful for your immediate invitation for a pilot program. If you can sign up as many kids for the online program, then that would also be a nice way for them to get a taste of Club Z. We will invite you as well to our national conference, which is happening in January in the wonderful state of Florida, where it's nice and warm. So depending on where you may be in America, you can escape the cold in January to a place where there is sunshine. That will also be a wonderful place, Ilana, where we can engage with the teens as well as potentially with yourself if you want to come down. I am told before we sign out and before we take any more questions that there is a young teen who is so excited and so passionate about Club Z, currently a Club Z teen, that he was like, I want to be part of this conversation to other people, letting them know about the awesomeness that is Club Z. So who is that young man, Olivia? Do you want to introduce him to us?
So Elliot is a very dedicated teen from Brooklyn. He comes to every event. He is an amazing spokesperson, and I put him on the spot and he rose to the challenge. So Elliot, wherever you are, if you could say maybe a few words about what Club Z has done for you or whatever you want. Go for it.
Hello, I'm Elliot. I've been with Club Z. It's going to be my 4th year with Club Z. And while I've been with Club Z, I've learned so much about Zionism, Israel, how to like protect myself from anti-Zionists and anti-Semites. And at the same time, been having fun, making friends. So it's just been an overall great experience.
All right, Elliot, thank you. And there we go. He was put on the spot. He rose to the challenge. So proud of you and so proud of your continued contribution and your leadership within Club Z, Elliot. Okay, are there any questions that I may perhaps have missed? Or if you have a question that you would actually like to verbalize yourself, please feel free to unmute and you are welcome to ask that question. I see a hand. Yes, Jim. No, you were just waving? All right. Am I seeing other hands, other questions?
Olga, I just want to make sure. Jim, are you, if you're talking to us, you're muted. Okay.
No, okay. I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
Oh no.
Oh no.
He'll come back, I'm sure.
All right. We'll wait for him to come back.
Yeah. He talks to us from Cosmos, so there's no good connection.
Yes.
Say that one more time.
He was from Cosmos. Have you seen this? He was in Cosmos.
In the space, Cosmos.
In the space, yes. So.
I see. Irene got jokes. Irene got jokes this evening.
Yeah.
Okay.
And mixed languages.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fun that we have in Club Z. We're a family. We are a family. Are there any questions? I do want to recognize the fact that it is 9:17 on the East Coast. School has started, so I know that it's a school night. There may be parents needing to get back to their families. That's it. Well, if nobody has got any questions, I'm hoping that that means that myself, together with Naya, as well as Arielle and everybody else that you have heard from, particularly Elliot, have done an incredibly excellent job at convincing you that Club Z is the place for your 8th grader all the way through to your 12th grader. Again, our website to sign up is www.clubz.org. If you have got a specific question that hasn't been answered that may come up after the call has ended, please feel free to email us at joinclubz@clubz.org.
Wait, I have one more question.
Yeah.
Is there any New York parents, teens here besides Sasha and Alex? You can write in the chat if you don't want to speak up. If not, okay, thank you.
All right, so Olivia's recruiting for her Brooklyn chapter. We still have seats and availability in Manhattan. We've got availability as well in Westchester. Charlotte is closed, but I think we can make a plan to lift up the lid there. We would love to have more teens in Charlotte. There's also definitely the Triangle as well as the Bay Area. We definitely don't want anybody that would love to be part of Club Z to feel left behind. Brooklyn is the best chapter and ready for more teens to join. There we go. Thank you, Olivia. Don't wait to sign up too long. Spots almost got. They are indeed. And more importantly, the retreats are upon us. And you got to be at the retreat if you want to have an incredible start to the new year. We've got the West Coast retreat happening this weekend. Next weekend is our New York retreat with all of our 3 chapters up in New York, and then North Carolina next week. We have a lot of team spirit over here. Okay. All right, everyone. I don't think Jim is back, right? No. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we lost him, but thank you so much for spending a few moments of your evening with us. Hopefully, we will see your teams as well as you at a Club Z event in the near future. Have a good night and bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.